Hello, and welcome to this is a masterclass slash chat on how I ate when I was healing my chronic gut issues, and then now how I guide my clients and have for the past 3.5. Victoria's on the call, so she's gonna say 4 years, 4 years, to get in control of their body again and ultimately heal their issues at the root. There is so much noise and well-meaning advice out there on what you should be eating, what you shouldn't be eating. And my intention is that you leave here with some major ahas and you can run with this and make it your own, but I'll go through all of it. We're going to go for about 45 minutes to an hour. And if you're watching the replay, you know that you can then stop and start this. I am doing this live. I have a little note next to me here. So if you see me looking down, that's exactly what I'm looking at, because I'm really just speaking from my heart here. And I feel like that's when the best stuff comes through. But people are joining, so I'm going to admit Eileen's coming in. So nice to see you, Eileen. If you can just make sure you're muted. Perfect. And we're just gonna get started. So nice to see you. So first, I'll just start off by introducing myself. If you're new to my space, I personally really, especially when it comes to my health, I'm not gonna lie, I really care about who I'm taking my advice from. And I remember when I was going through all of my health issues, especially my gut issues, just the feeling of stress of I feel so stressed, I don't feel good. That state had me grappling for any advice that I could take. And when we're in that state of stress, sometimes we're not even aware of where we're getting our information, but we're just so desperate to try things. Especially if you've already been to doctors and whatnot. So a little bit of background on me. On paper, I'm a clinical nutritionist, which means that I have a master's of science degree in personalized clinical nutrition. I'm a holistic health coach. I went to IAN, Institute of Integrative Nutrition. So I did that first, actually. Then I got my master's, and I've been in private practice now for the past 4 years. And so I have like this love and obsession, a healthy obsession with gut issues. Really, I see the body, it's all one thing. So hormone imbalance, weight issues, food relationship, mental health, it's all connected. But that's my background. And before any of that, though, how I got into this was from beginning of when I could remember, I was in a constant battle with my body and with food. I was a very chunky little girl. Not everybody believes me, but I have pictures to prove it. I was a very chunky little girl. And I remember, being 6 or 7 and feeling already at that age so not comfortable in my own body. And like daydreaming of just like not carrying around that extra weight. And so anywho, that started this fascination with food and fascination with my body at a young age, and really come from an innocent place of just wanting to feel good and like wear clothes and not feel like they're tight on my skin. But I'm not going to go into all the details, but just a general overview. That's me, and this is actually going to tie in later, but my pursuit of just feeling better and losing that weight, because I didn't know what the heck I was doing at 10 or 11. By 11, I was restricting so much that I basically developed anorexia, and I battled that for, if you follow me on social media, you know, I'm very open about this. I battled that for about 3 years. I mean, in and out of rehab centers. It was bad. And then I rebounded with binging. And why that's relevant is because, boom, after all of that, one, I mean, I thank God that I came out of that. It helped, it forced me to grow up very fast. Though I wouldn't wish that experience on anybody. Um, I recovered from those things, but I still had no idea what the heck I should be eating. It's like you could read all day. I could read all day from everybody and their mom about healthy diets, and I ate this and I felt better, and I ate this and it's like I was kind of obsessed with just learning about this stuff. But nonetheless, there I was at 14, 15, and I mean, just doing my best to eat healthy, but still not feeling good. Like my stomach was never quite settled. Um, I never felt toned, like nothing felt right, but I was just happy to survive that whole extreme situation I dealt with. Okay, boom. We flash forward to about 15 and a half, 16, and it seemed like an overnight thing, but I started to have my digestive issues started to get pretty severe, where I went from, oh, I don't feel good after I eat to, oh no, I feel so nauseous. I feel nauseous and I just ate like a banana and I feel like I need to just hurl. And over the course of about 3 months, it felt like my whole system just stopped. I wasn't going to the bathroom. I couldn't eat food. And this just sent me um, into this path of the doctor's visits, the constant testing, the like, what is wrong with her? What's going on? Um, and what's really funny to me now is like looking back at that, I go, wait a minute, it's kind of obvious. Like my body had went through hell and back. Like I did some serious damage. And let me just pause here and say, I work with a lot of men and women, super smart, super motivated, successful in their own right, whether that's, you know, they're a lawyer or they're this um, just hands-on mama, but people, women, men and women who are like really want to be in their life. Um, but they have some kind of past, whether it's with dieting, yo-yo dieting, it doesn't have to be as extreme as mine, or an eating disorder, or just some kind of situation that happened that really affected them mentally. We don't always connect back to our body. And often when I'm first working with somebody, it's a big aha moment when they're like, oh my God, like this is wrong, this is wrong, this is wrong. And I go, hey, based off your health history and everything you've been through, it kind of makes sense. And I'm telling you, it's such a sense of relief when you go, oh, my body isn't just like against me for no reason. And it's not against me at all. It's just responding to what happened. We can find relief in that understanding before we even get better. But okay, anyways, I go down the doctor route and I did so much testing. I got diagnosed with IBS, IBS-C. I was put on Miralax. And at one point I was taking half of a bottle of like the big bottle of Miralax every day to just go. I was having severe acid reflux. And I lost a lot of weight. Some people with gut issues, it goes the other way. Like we gain weight. For me, because I literally couldn't eat. I couldn't eat. I wasn't eating. It took a good year and a half for me to get a diagnosis. Oh, I had SIBO as well, to get a diagnosis of something called gastroparesis. And what that means is gastro, stomach, paresis means paralyzed. I had developed a condition where my digestive tract was basically paralyzed. And it's actually a nerve issue. So it was really devastating when I got that diagnosis at 16, because the prognosis of that is you need a permanent feeding tube. But again, I'm going to just pause and say, I'm sharing all of this so that when I talk about healing, you see where I'm coming from. um, and is a big difference of healing from a place of just theory and ideas and things you learn to having gone through it. So that's why I'm going to this detail. But yeah, so I got this diagnosis. It's really crappy outlook. It's like, yeah, you're probably gonna need a permanent feeding tube. Most people who get this diagnosis have diabetes or are a little bit older. So as terrible as that is still, getting a permanent feeding tube when you're 70 is a little different than when you're 16. So there I was, 16 years old, doing school from home because I had no energy and I looked emaciated. And I just remember thinking, despite feeling so like my physical body not being well, like I had a knowing. I had a knowing, and now I know it's God, universe, whatever you resonate with. Like, I wasn't supposed to live my life like that. No, 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 no. I just had a knowing. And I can't really tell you where that was from. Um, but I had this knowing. And that knowing is what kept me looking and open to like other ways of dealing with this situation. Mind you, I was not pooping on my own. I had acid reflux. I was eating about 4 different foods. And the foods I was eating, let's just talk about it. I was eating bananas. I was eating almond milk. I was eating rice cereal. And I think I was drinking like some protein shakes, like Ensure. Like, what? Um, but okay, yeah. So I kept my mind open to these other possibilities. And I believe this is something that we all have, that like inner fire and knowing of what is possible for us. Because I see it all the time now with men and women I work with, where people go through some gnarly stuff, but the things that happen to you are not you. Like you are you, and you are here for a reason. And it's listening to that inner voice more than your current circumstances. Like I was getting basically bombarded with this image of what my life was going to be. And I had to, again, don't ask me how, but I believe it was like it's a self-trust and it's like a relentlessness of getting back to myself. That's just, yeah, no, we're not going to do this. Flash forward, I find some story of a girl online who had my condition who healed. Really, I just remember watching that video and not even really paying attention to all the details of the video. It was just the first proof I had that, oh, like, wait a minute. Oh, she healed naturally. I'm like, I can figure this out. Somebody else did it. I'm going to. Like, that's all I needed. That's all I needed. And I'm going to pause here for anybody who comes from like a um, medical family or family with a lot of people in medicine. That was my family, my extended family. There was multiple doctors, and I grew up in this like with the understanding that doctors know everything there is to know, and like almost like godly. To be honest, it was a little bit godly, and I have doctor friends. I respect them so much, but I don't think we should give anybody that much power, frankly. So it was really an aha moment for me when I saw that, oh, I could think beyond what somebody else was telling me about my body. Respectfully go, oh, thank you for that input, but I'm gonna do something else. That was a game changer. So anyways, I found out that she healed naturally, and boom, we were off to the races. Okay. And by off to the races, I don't mean overnight, all of a sudden I found my magic healing protocol and I was better. But I got on this path of, oh, I have to take things into my own hands. Oh, I'm gonna learn what I have to do and whatever I need to do. And I was just in the energy of, look, it can't really get any worse. And I know how I'm supposed to live my life. Let's just do this. That's all the setup for y'all to know. It's like you don't have to get that bad. But there is there's something to um recognizing your own feelings of just doneness, recognizing your own feelings of whether it's, you're dealing with bloating that's making you uncomfortable where you don't want to wear your favorite top anymore, or it's you're so stressed out about food that you're canceling plans. Like, suffering is relative. No matter what level you're at, it's giving yourself permission to go, yeah, I don't want this in my life. If I can fix it, I'm going to learn how to fix it. And it's not for anybody else, and it's not to prove anything. It's for my own, well, like my own life, that I can live how I live. So yeah, so there's that. Then we're on this natural path. We're going to get into this food here in a second. On the natural path. And I go from, okay, all these doctor's visits, and I still, kept in touch with some gastroenterologists, always a good idea. I'm not anti-medicine. To all of a sudden now, the world of natural, and there's just as much information overwhelm. And I'm like, oh my gosh, it's almost more over here. It's like, this dietitian says this nutritionist says this natural doctor says this. And it's just like, oh my goodness. So there was a moment of overwhelm, but again, I wanted to circle back to that deep knowing. I anchored more into that deep knowing of, hey, I know where I'm going. So I'm not going to get too bogged down by feelings of overwhelm or any of that. Like, that's expected. It's a new space. So really, I became very intentionally seeking opportunities versus obstacles. And I swear, like, these mindset things were coming to me because I had a very active spiritual, say spiritual life, but like spiritual connection. That was my way of staying afloat during all of this. And these ways of thinking were just like, I saw them through books or whatever, but it was all kind of coming together. Anyways, I'm just trying to search for some practitioner, somebody who can help me figure out what to do. And I probably saw like 5 different natural practitioners who all had great intentions. They all had their own spice and flavor of, you should eat this, you should eat that, you should eat this, you should eat that. And take all these supplements. And like, I would give them my honest try. But they weren't working. And I could have right there just said, forget it. Like, I have tried freaking everything. But when you're anchored, and I know you know this, if you're watching this, if you're even spending your time here, you're just like, no, I'm going to figure it out. When you don't really have another option, it's like, no, I'm going to fix this. You just take all those situations as trying to learn from them, trying to learn what to do next or what to do differently. And so I finally got wise, and I started searching for practitioners who had like Yelp pages and like actual reviews. And I think that's something that's a side note in health, in medicine, in like healing. I feel like we don't often, when it comes to getting help, we don't often like ask the practitioner or the therapist or whoever for like success stories. And I kind of go, in what other part of our life do we just go, yeah, I'm gonna try this without knowing at all if it's ever worked for somebody else. Like, think about Amazon. When's the last time you went on Amazon, didn't read the reviews of the thing that you purchased? I found this woman who had like reviews about her, she was very holistic, but she specialized in GI issues. And so many people had written into what an amazing experience they had and how much better they got. And I was like, wow, not one of my past experts that I worked with had any of that. And it was kind of like eye-opening. I remember sitting with my mom, and we were just like, oh my gosh, she has like reviews. Wait, what? Is that normal? And now it's like, if you're here, you probably follow me on Instagram. I'm blasting my client texts all the time, and it's not for me. Well, one, it's for me because I get excited, it makes me happy. But 2, it's to show and help other people see it's possible. Like, it's totally possible. So that got me excited. Anyways, I sit in her office, and she's very holistic, Eastern kind of based. And We had a 2-hour consultation. I'm like, whoa. She wants to know everything I eat, not just what I eat, how I eat. She wants to know my entire health history, wants to know all of it. And that was the turning point for me, where she basically just tells me, and hear this so loud, we're going into diet right now. Basically, me being the sassy and know-it-all version of myself that I was, I go, I eat so healthy. I don't get it. I don't think it's my diet. I don't think it's my diet. Has anybody been there? Is anybody there? It's not my diet. I'm the healthiest of my friend group, in my family. Don't even go there with me. And she was very no BS. She's just like, tell me, like, I'm not here to judge you. I just want to know what you're eating. And you know what? I had resistance to telling her, even though I knew that I was eating healthy, because there was something that felt so intimate about somebody looking at my food. And I kind of felt like I was gonna be judged, but turns out she didn't judge me, but she just needed to know. And what I was eating at the time, and actually she had me go into what I was eating before. I was only eating 4 foods, to be fair. And I was saying, all the right things, and which was true. I was eating a lot of like non-fat Greek yogurt, um, oatmeal, peanut butter, almond butter, salads, very big salads, lots of cooked veggies. My meals were like what I now know to call like volume based, where like the more I could put on my plate with less calories, the better. But that was like healthy, right? Like a typical meal, thinking back before all this happened, would be from Trader Joe's. There's this like microwavable chicken. I don't even know what it's called, but half of my plate would be this like lean, super lean chicken. And then the other half of my plate would be this pile of broccoli. I'm like, that's as healthy as it can get. Like, okay. Um, I'd be snacking on protein bars, granola bars. And I felt constantly hungry, to be honest. So I was always snacking on something. It's like whether it was a Dannon zero fat yogurt with like, and I would make all these different concoctions. It's like, I'm going to put yogurt and then I'll put Cheerios in the yogurt. And then I'm going to put some chocolate chips. And then that are sugar free, by the way, and like make all these different concoctions. And basically I was eating all day long in little amounts. And I was eating a lot of fibrous foods, a lot of veggies, and just a lot of volume. Like if I was gonna have blueberries, man, I eat like a pint of blueberries. Um, um, my favorite foods were cauliflower, like roasted cauliflower, favorite, as in I could eat a lot of it without that many calories. Broccoli, lots of lean meats. Yeah, I keep repeating myself. I love Quest bars. Um, no shade to Quest bars, but man, if you have a slow gut, they can really. I was eating like the healthy ice creams, Halo Top, Arctic Zero, because remember, and I want to know, like reach out to me on social if this is you, because of my history before all these gut issues. And for you, maybe it's hormone, whatever, like skin issues. My original root of all this was like my body and my weight. So I still had this ingrained thing about calories and fat and all of that. So that was like subconsciously influencing my food choices. Um, okay, so this practitioner just goes, light bulb moment. Okay, lovingly, she says, yeah, you eat a lot of healthy foods, but your digestive system has gone through a lot. And the foods that you're eating can be very difficult to break down for a gut in general, but let alone a gut that's stressed and that's running on the slow side. And I was just starting to go, wait, what? She was bringing in something new. She was talking about my gut and my symptoms and all that from the lens of not just the food itself, but like my digestion. And she brought in this like idea of your digestion itself, like the fact that you're not going to the bathroom. Yeah, food is involved, but your motility is low. It's probably very slow. So things aren't moving through. You've been dieting on and off your whole life. I mean, for me, it was more severe, but dieting on and off, that can affect your enzyme output. That can affect these things that we need for digestion. So you have kind of two things going on. The foods that you're eating, one, none of it's optimal for digestion, like frankly. Like we didn't evolve eating large salad bowls. Not once until recent times did we even have access to all the fruits and vegetables we had at one time to make a salad. So that says something. So you're eating like this, and your digestive system itself needs some support to come back to health from what it's been through. What? Pause. The first time ever where a light bulb went off and I went, wait a minute, that makes so much sense. My digestive system itself is not working right. So no wonder, no matter what I put in there, things are just off. And so this is like kind of lesson number one when it comes to diet. If you have IBS, if you have IBD, if you have mystery gut issues that honestly, there's no label for them. You just have digestive issues and you're always having problems. SIBO, chronic bloating, laxative dependence is going into your diet, knowing that your diet is not the only component of these chronic issues, and that hyperfixation on just the diet alone is like missing the other piece of this puzzle, which is what's happening with your digestion. And this is something, I mean, I would need 8 hours to go into all this. This is what I teach in gut rehab and what I guide my clients through. It's this rehabbing the gut, and also, okay, what are we going to eat while we do that? But okay, so light bulb moment. And she basically just says, and I remember her saying, we need to eat in a way that's digestible. You want to treat your gut like a computer that's over processing. When a computer's spazzing out because it has too many tabs open and adding more information to that computer is going to make things worse. So what we want to do is want to calm that computer down, shut it down, remove what we can, clear it out, so it can calm down, and then come back to life. The same is with the gut. So when our gut is having symptoms, bloating, gas, constipation, alternating constipation, diarrhea, or non-obvious gut issues, non-obvious meaning manifestations of gut issues, like adult acne, hormonal imbalance, autoimmune, same but different. At the core, that's just our body saying we're stressed. Like at the core, we are stressed. So what do we want to do? If our body's stressed, we want to calm it down. We want to simplify things. We want to make it easier on your body. Can you feel into that? We just want to make it easier. Okay. So then when it came to this idea of eating digestible, what does that mean? So I'm going to close out my story for a second now, talk to you through the lens of my practice and what I see. And I'll bring my story back in a few times, but when you're dealing with gut issues, first of all, you need to establish right now, it'll do you good or just sleep on it. Are we trying to heal the problem or are we trying to manage it? Note that I had decided I was going to heal it. It's a very different energy you bring to all of this when you just know, oh yeah, I'm gonna resolve this as much as I can versus manage it. When we're just trying to manage and get by, our in the moment stress will get the best of us. And we will, let me just try to remove this food and see what it does. Oh, and then 2 days later it doesn't work. So let's do this other thing. Oh, that new supplement has really good reviews. Let me try that. I mean, this is just human nature. How do I know? I did it. Like I did it all. And where did that end me? Like just in that office, essentially, But so we want to establish, are we healing it or are we managing it? Know that when you choose, okay, I'm going to heal it, you don't got to be perfect. Like I am like the definition of, okay, please don't do any of these things because I've done all of them. I'm the kind of person that things have to get really bad in order for me to make a change. So just know that. If you're watching this going like, oh, I know some of those stuff, or oh, sometimes it's just how you hear it and your own timing and when it feels right for you. Okay. So, all right. So we've decided we're healing it. If we're going to heal the issue, then we need to have an honest, basic understanding of like, well, what's my body been through? Not to dwell, but just to like acknowledge yourself and then go, okay, here's all the things that will contribute. You don't need to know all of them. I do go into all of this, all of it in Gut Rehab. If you want to know all the things, there'll be links under the video later so that you can dive into all of that. But diet's just one piece. When you know that, it takes a certain pressure off of the diet piece. And that's really important. Okay, so we're in healing mode. The number one thing when it comes to how to eat, healing gut issues are differentiating between a gut healthy diet and a gut healing diet. So a gut healing diet is a diet that typically is pretty like simple in its meal composition, where there's not like 20 ingredients. There's like 3 or 4. And those foods or the meal composition are heavier in protein. That's an easy gluten-free carbs. That's how I'll say it. And there's many reasons for that. Versus a gut healthy diet that's like, and make sure you get your fiber and add in the seeds here and then add in more vegetables here and lots of variety. Why is that? Because a gut healthy diet is for a gut that is already pretty okay, but we just want to make it healthier. A gut healing diet is designed to help a gut that's, we'll say malfunctioning. It's not really malfunctioning, but is calm down and come back to its innate health. You feel? It's different. This is a game changer. A game changer. Because so much of the gut health advice, and I'm not speaking to anybody specific, when you do your own research, will be about plants and your gut microbiome and all of these things. That's not wrong. Plants can help your gut microbiome, but in order for that food to even get down to your gut microbiome, it has to be digested first. If you can't digest it because we're having these digestive issues, there's no point. And then we feel gassy and bloated and constipated, or diarrhea or whatever, or we're inflamed because we have leaky gut. There's so many things can happen. And so it's not an either or, it's okay, we're going to put that in the parking lot for later when I have my gut is healthy again and I'm in a rhythm going to the bathroom every day. I'm not gassy and bloated and I just feel good. Okay, then let's bring in the variety. All right. So the gut healing diet, it's about simplifying our meals, making it easy for our stomach. Literally, it's how I like to imagine it. Like your stomach is a soft pink sack. It's a soft pink sack. That's about that big. and it can expand. Mm-hmm. But then that soft pink sac has a soft pink tube that runs through your body. And it's a soft pink tube. If that soft pink tube is stressed, inflamed, kind of weak, what do we want to do? We want to support its, we want to make it easy for that gut to calm down. And we want to give it the material it needs to get strong again. Typically, and I'm going to say typically, because everybody's different. I want you to hear what I'm saying about diet and put it through your own truth filter. When I say truth filter, your own truth, because there's always an exception. There's always the scenario where, well, actually, I do really well with XYZ. Fabulous, fabulous. If you know what works for you, perfect, but I don't think we'd be here. There are certain foods that my OG practitioner recommended I avoided, but they were actually fine for me and they never caused any problems. And I just knew it, so I kept them. But then there were some that I didn't want to admit it, but they were totally jacking me up. And I had to like make that choice to let them go for a while. But my point is, after working now with, was it like Victoria on the call, over 300 people? Yeah. If there was a PDF, if there was like, this is the one diet that for sure, if you just follow this, you will never have a gut issue again. I would sell that stuff so quick. I do have a guide, like Gut Rehab, that teaches you how to eat and how to get in touch with this, and clear through the clutter. So that does exist. But my point is, it's like anytime that we're looking for just the exact answer, we're kind of setting ourselves up for failure because everybody's a little bit different. You want to be going off of principles, like a principle. You want to go off of principles when it comes to healing. Like a principle is eating healthy versus healing. That applies to everybody. Like what's going to be healing for your body versus what's just like healthy when you're already healthy. Okay, so we get that it's personal. We get that it's personable. There's common themes. Let's go through some of these. One, the digestibility. It's when I first started ramping up my gut, something that I avoided personally was I avoided eating large amounts of veggies, even cooked, at a time. And for me, large amounts was anything over half a cup. And why I did that was, in my case, and I work with a lot of women who have hypothyroidism, who struggle with constipation, gas and bloating. That usually means there's a motility thing going on. Motility is just how fast they move through your gut. Adding fiber from veggies or nuts, seeds, granolas, high fiber cereals, all of that can actually slow down your gut more. For some people, it speeds it up. For some people, it speeds it up. But for a lot of women, it slows things down. And so I started to notice a connection between, oh, when I eat less veggies, I'm less gassy and bloated. Oh, when I'm not gassy and bloated, I'm actually going to the bathroom more. Like things have an easier route to leave. So basically, I cut back on my fiber. And instead of focusing on how healthy can I make this plate? Like, how diverse can this look? How colorful can this look? It was, how simple and digestible is this? One food that I see now as a superfood when it comes to gut healing, so long as you have the digestive support to do that, or essentially your digestive support to do that, is protein. Protein, I think a lot of us went through the era where protein was kind of demonized as like, don't eat too much protein and meat's not the way and all of that. And, no matter what your beliefs are morally around it, what I can say just from personal experience and then working with real life human beings who not just manage their conditions, but reverse them. I see that protein, chicken, fish, a lot of times high quality red meat, turkey, these are some of the quote unquote safest foods and supportive healing foods when we are healing our gut or when we are trying to reverse these symptoms. So that's just a little note there. It can be very, very supportive. Okay, so we've talked about simplifying. That also came to how I was eating. I was really making digestion complex for my body by eating all day long, even healthy snacks, because we weren't meant, and this is not my opinion, it's just the design of our body, we weren't meant to be grazers, really. We were meant to more eat and move on and eat and move on. And note that if you're like me and from the past, it's a version of myself that was like, man, I'm eating, but an hour and a half later, I am ready to go again. Like, what's going on? Why can I not stop thinking about food? So a lot of times what this is the food that we're eating. Well, one, actually, it could be gut issues. But then second to that is the meals that we're eating are not aligned for our needs. So when I was feeling like that, what I found out later was I was not eating enough fat for my body because I was scared of fat. And when I wasn't eating enough fat, it's like my body was constantly searching for more. So the more I balanced out my meals, then the less I felt like that. But in order to even get to that space, I had to get my digestion up and running again. Yeah. So one thing at a time. It's another thing with this whole simplifying is you can Google and find a bunch of different rules that you should follow for your gut. You have to pick and choose. You have to pick and choose what the most high leverage things are. So talking about diet, there will totally be 100 plus different things that you could or should do. For me, when I started to see change consistently is when I was making change. I made a few changes with my diet, a few, probably around 5 or 6, like if I'm really thinking about it. And I was consistent with them. And I wasn't changing things up all the time, but I would change things up, in my case, with the guidance of somebody else on the outside who could tell me if I was just like, oh, should I change things now? Because I'm feeling like this. What do you think? That was really helpful. Because another thing that can happen with our diet when we have gut issues and why we change so much is anxiety around, am I doing it right? Oh no, maybe I'm making things worse. Oh, and that's such a, like, they go hand in hand. And I am the first to admit, it's something I'm constantly working on, to keep it this way. Like when it comes to health and nutrition, I have been very proud in the past. Very like, I got it, I got it, I got it. And I think there's a healthy part of that energy. It's very like you're empowered. But the other side is just like, you don't know what you don't know. And so it was really humbling for me to work with somebody who had so much experience to go, maybe I recommend you switch this. I recommend you keep doing that. Both for my physical healing, but then also for my mind to keep me centered. So yeah, simplifying my meals. Healthy versus healing foods. Getting clear on some of these myths around like what's bad and what's not bad. And if you're wondering, like, how do you even know that? Like, how do you know what's bad or not bad? I don't claim to know it all, but I work with real people and you see trends. It's very different than just reading about something or studying something in a lab. I see real change. And so with the protein, with the animal protein situation, people always ask me, I get this question a lot when someone's like, oh, like I'm vegan or vegetarian. Well, can you still work with me? Can you still help me? The answer is always like, yeah, I could still help you. Absolutely. But forewarning, I have seen the people get with the most success in reversing their issues, be open to involving some animal protein again. It's just it. but I have seen people get well on a vegan or plant-based diet, but you just have to know what you're getting into and expect that. But okay. So let me just check my notes here because don't want to forget anything. So after I had started changing my diet, working with this practitioner, getting feedback, I remember her always saying, and it's the worst thing to hear when you're an impatient person, is you have a chronic condition. This may take a little bit of time. So just settle in. I kind of rejected that because I didn't want to feel like someone was holding me back. And I'm like, here, just tell me what to do, tell me what supplements to take, let's go. And mind you, she was also guiding me with supplements and all of that, which is what got me so passionate and interested in this and why I got my master's and what I teach in gut rehab. All the supplements and how to use them and all of that. But I remember her saying, it could take a little bit of time. And I believe it took me about 6 months to feel normal again. But I believe it would have taken me 3 months had I not, for the first 3 months, dipped in and out. Oh, I'm going to try this. Oh, and then I can't. Oh, I'm going to try. I'm actually doing better now. I'm good. But this impatient energy that was living in my body is something that I didn't see was connected to the gut issues themselves. Like that, I need to be over there, but I'm not there yet. I'm behind. I need to go. That energy, guess what? That's in like 90% of my one-on-one clients, which is why, and if any practitioners are watching this, dietitians, nutritionists, and you're just trying to get an insight on like, wait, how do you help your clients get better results? I only now starting, this was like mid last year. I make some exceptions when like it just feels right. But if someone has a chronic gut issues, and they genuinely want to get better from them, minimum 3 months, nothing less. Why? Because if someone's been dealing with something for 6 months, even, or 10 years, the reversal of that is, I have just seen it takes time. But I always say, hey, things can change in an instant. So don't let me limit you. If things get better in an instant, fantastic. But to overcome something that's causing so much problem in your life, it's like you owe it to yourself to give yourself time. And I'm kind of going off on tangents, but you're going to get what you need from this. I've had some clients with IBS feel better, aka IBS-C, go to the bathroom every day, fix it, no longer feel bloated, in 2 weeks of the holistic gut rehab process. I have some people who come in with seemingly mild gut issues, like just bloating or something, who end up taking 2 months to really get into oh, not only is the bloating gone, but I get it. I get what I was doing, what I need to do, and that kind of back and forth. So back to the whole food thing, when we're really in the mindset of healing, we also let go of this idea that if I just change this one thing, like that should just fix it. And ironically, when we can drop the urgency, we can relax into a plan. And the more we relax, the less we kind of fight ourselves, and the more our body can calm down, and the faster we see change. This is just something I've seen. It's kind of awesome. So yeah, for the practitioners watching, and you really work with a lot of people with gut issues, when you see all the results and all the transformations my clients have gotten, I believe a huge part of it is I set the tone from the beginning, like, hey, this is a process. That's what will set you up for success. So 3-month minimum, that creates a dynamic of, okay, we're actually healing. We're not doing this on the side, kind of, sort of for years. We're actually healing. So this creates a really, one, just a really fun vibe to work with people because people are in, they like, it's a really genuine relationship and they're more invested. So they're doing more of the things and they're also able to relax. And so they end up feeling better physically and mentally so much faster, ironically. So yeah, I set containers versus one-off appointments. And also as somebody who dealt with gut issues, I could not have learned everything I learned over the process I went through in an appointment. That's another thing when it comes to eating for gut issues is how I ate like the first week that I was really like, oh, healthy versus healing, digestible, shifted probably 3 to 4 times over those 6 months as my gut was coming back to life. It wasn't I eat this now, fixed. It was it's almost like I'm trying to think of an analogy, but um just think of a process. Like a process is something that like, there are steps. There are steps. I'm doing like a spiral motion, but like there are steps to a process and you get to the top and you've done multiple steps. Getting to that point with your diet, getting to that point with food. You have IBS, you have IBD, whatever, and you're like, I don't want to stress over this anymore. The changes that you'll make to your diet to get to that place, or I should say, you'll probably make multiple different iterations as you heal your gut and your body gets stronger and as you learn your body better. Today, I posted this on my story last night. The same day that the day after I make a reel about how like salads are the worst food for bloating, I literally post a picture of my salad that I ate for dinner. And you might go like, wait, what? And this is where we're breaking free of that black or white thinking and that like, oh, I'm broken. So if I have IBS, I'll never have a salad again. No, that post I made about not eating salads was, yeah, if you're bloated and constipated and you haven't healed your gut and you're eating salads every day, that food probably doesn't serve you. I went through that process and I went through it the long way. And so now my gut is rehabbed and I can eat a salad and not have an issue. It was a process. So my point there is when it comes to what do I eat, all you need to concern yourself with if you're at the beginning stages is like your baseline diet and how to calm things down and not get too hung up on how simple it is. I always say there's a difference between restriction and simplicity, especially if you're a woman who has a history of disordered eating or yo-yo dieting or weird relationship with food. How you frame your healing journey is everything. I could have seen my simple diet that I was eating just to get my gut up and running as like, oh, I'm being restricted because I'm not letting myself have a bite of XYZ. No, the most restricted thing for me at the time was feeling like crap. So I was going to choose from a place of, like, I want this. I'm going to be simple because this is not my whole story. We're going to get there. When you can get out of the current moment and see the big picture, that makes the diet part, the supplement part, all these different things feel a lot lighter. As you notice on this call, I didn't come on going, okay, so let's talk about the gut issues. They're ruining your life. I know it, because we already know how bad they can be. How do we get out of any state? I'm bringing a little bit of mindset right now, but how do we shift out of some kind of state? It's not by going deeper into it and all of that. Feel your feelings. Feel your feelings. I'm a feeling feeler, but when it comes to healing your gut and your diet, the lighter that you can be about it, like the dance of being light but being devoted, right? Because you can be both. It doesn't have to be this, I'm either disciplined and serious or I'm light. No, okay. I'm going to be light about it. Yeah. So going back to specifics, really, there's two foods. There's two foods. And how are we doing on time? Victoria, what time did we start?
We started 55 minutes ago.
Oh, wow. Wow. I was planning on going for an hour. I might go a little bit longer, but not too long. Um, Shoot, lost my train of thought.
Food,
Oh,
food.
it's two foods, yeah. Um, so at this point, my whole story and my practice and my clients and stuff, I'm always getting asked, like what food should I just like totally avoid? People who just swoop in the DMs or people, my friends, extended fam, people who have gut issues, just like what should I not eat? Um, and what I was saying before, it's like everybody's different, but there are certain themes and trends that I consistently see. Um, and depending on what your issue is, whether it's constipation and bloating or diarrhea or inflammation weight, or adult acne or autoimmune, like there's going to be different like specifics on diet that can be incredibly helpful that are specific to those things. Um, like for example, psoriasis. Immediately, someone has psoriasis, which by the way, I had, and it's in remission. Um, and I developed it all in my chest here and in the most awkward places ever. Very uncomfortable. Right away we go alcohol, gluten, dairy. Not removing from a place you never have it again, but those are adding fuel to the fire. Now I'm going to present that differently with somebody who has IBS because their triggers generally be a little bit different. What's happening in my nose. But that's what I mean by when I'm about to say these two foods, I'm going to speak specifically to a specific scenario, constipation and bloating. But know that if you have hypothyroidism, if you have IBS-C, if you have SIBO, like your specific foods that you want to focus on removing may be slightly different. I teach all of this in Gut Rehab, all in one place. Um, so I'm thinking right now of the constipation and the bloating. One is dairy. There's so much controversy around dairy, and I don't care to entertain that. But what I can see is dairy is very difficult for a lot of people to break down. And then you add that into a gut that also is like kind of weak right now and pissed. You add in a food that's already difficult for most adults to break down, and you're kind of have a setup for potential issues. So dairy is one. And then two, it's not gluten actually, even though I'm not like, hey, go out there and eat all the gluten, unless maybe you're in Italy or something, is large portions of cruciferous vegetables like broccoli, cauliflower, cabbage, kale, that kind of thing. And why? Because again, those foods, though healthy on their own, if we were to like put them under a microscope and go, wow, you're full of vitamin C. When it comes to digestibility, they are rough to break down and can slow down your gut and can make the bloating and the gas and the constipation worse. Again, I'm talking to the woman who's constipation prone, alternate constipation, diarrhea, bloated, gassy, that kind of thing. Those are two foods that I really see can be problematic. But here's the fun part. I have heard like countless women that I work with who came in needing to remove those foods to feel better, getting relief, and then a year later tell me that they went on vacation to so and so place, or they had this birthday and they enjoyed the gelato, or they enjoyed this and they were symptom free. Symptom free. It's not a miracle. It's the fact that um back to that healing mindset, it's the diet that we eat to heal our gut isn't meant necessarily to be our forever diet or the thing that's going to restrict us. It's the thing that's designed to get us back to health. I don't think I've ever said it more clearly. How we eat to heal our gut is just designed to get us back to health. The whole idea of food as medicine. What medicine does your gut need to go back to health, to work again? Okay, after it's healthy, go ahead, test the boundaries. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So then when it comes to working with clients, I'm going to give you an example. We're going a little bit over, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to give 2 client examples around what we did with their diet and the other things that were involved, and then I'll wrap things up. But I feel like it's so much easier to envision something when you hear an example. Okay, so I'm thinking of one client. Her name's Eiley, and just feel this. So Eiley, her early 40s, and like outside looking in, when I first met her, she looked like a health nut. That's like 80% of my clients. They are already health nuts, or they're health practitioners, or they're personal trainers, or they're other nutritionists, or they're just people who you're like, well, they already know how to eat healthy. Please take so much relief in knowing that you can have all these different imbalances and know a lot, right? That's very different than knowing our body needs to heal. We can't always see ourselves. But anyways, she has been spending like, I think 10 years plus trying to just feel normal again. Her symptoms were crazy bloating and inflammation. Like her stomach looked just like distended and puffy. She had adult acne. So cystic acne that would crop up here. Um, she would have like some nervous system stuff, like she would get eye spasms and all of that. And then also she was just very stressed, had this constant stress about food. It was almost like food was this focal point of her day. Like not in the fun way of like, ooh, I have a good dinner coming up later, but in a, oh God, for breakfast, what I should have for breakfast. Oh, I don't know if that's gonna work, for dinner, lunch, what I'm gonna have. That, that feeling. And she'd been trying to fix this for like 10 years. When it came to her diet, first thing I had her do was do a food journal for me and what I call food mood journal. So it's not just what she's eating, but it's how she's feeling, symptoms, all of that. And basically, she was eating like the healthiest diet I've ever seen in my life. Um, every superfood you can imagine was like thrown in her smoothie, and every vegetable that ever existed was on her plate. And I know if she watches this, she's gonna crack up because she knows it's true. Um, which was like the right thing to do, right? A gut healthy diet, variety, veggies, fiber. Um, but there her body was bloated, inflamed, all of that. So then through my lens, I go, oh wow, her body's stressed out as heck. Her gut's very stressed out. She can't handle all this stuff. Let's calm it down. Let's simplify her diet. And let's get her eating foods that are easier to digest. We swap out her breakfast from this complex smoothie with like cauliflower rice vibes, to a simpler smoothie with like just a few ingredients that her body can digest. Lunch, instead of some plant-based garbanzo bean situation, um, let's have you eating some protein, some rice, some avocado, something simple like that. And then for dinner, let's do something similar. Just giving a basic thing. Oh, and while we're doing that, let's make sure that we are supporting your digestion at the root. Enzymatic support, stomach acid support, motility support through supplements. Because here's how I view supplements. It's like they're really just meant to supplement, to support our bodies when we're under functioning. So less is more in the supplement department. FYI, she was like on 15. We got her down to like 4 or 5, but they were targeted and they were specific, and we kept it simple. And anyways, removing a lot of the nuts. By simplifying her diet, we just removed so much of the extra that her body was trying to break down. And just that change alone with the supplement support, with this, we have 3 months to do this. I got you. I got you. You don't have to be perfect. We'll make changes along the way. Literally within that same week, I'm getting a message from her, and it's on my Instagram. It's actually on her Instagram too. Um, um, I feel so much better. I'm not as bloated. But does it surprise you now when you know how, in a way, digestion works? I didn't go into the physiology of digestion, but a stress gut needs simplicity. If you got IBS, if you're constipated, if you're bloated, if you have IBD, if you have some other non-obvious gut issue, an issue that goes back to the gut, less is more, less is healing. Yeah. So there was Eileen. And then after that initial change, we probably tweaked her diet 3 to 4 times. And by the end, got her to a place where she actually went on this trip to Greece. And she was really worried about in the beginning of us working together, like, oh, I want to be able to go to Greece and enjoy foods and all the things. And she shares all that on social media, where because she rehabbed her gut, she simplified and then built up. She added in digestive support. We were talking about all the things that were contributing, the stress, the mindset, the way that she was eating. We really rounded this out because we're like, we're doing this for your life, okay? We don't need to zoom through it. We have 3 months. We really reset her system. And then she went off to Greece, and we were seeing photos of her living her best life, eating croissants in Greece, not having those reactions because her body had calmed down. So that was Eileen. And Eileen, thanks for letting me share your story so much, but you're just like such a shining light. And I know you had really felt like, shoot, I've tried everything. I'm just looking at the time here, actually, and it's going to be 12 my time. So in like 4 minutes, I should get off. So I'm going to skip the second client story, but I could just keep talking to you all day. I want to round this talk out on eating to heal gut issues. There's a hidden invitation in that phrase, and it's to heal versus to manage. I'm very aware certain conditions are chronic. Like, for example, my psoriasis, it's my gut. For me, healing that means that it's in remission. That's what it means. It doesn't mean like, oh, I don't see where the white patches were. No, but it's like feeling like they're under control and I know what to do to keep them into control. And I feel good about it. Same with the gut stuff, the IBS. It's like, it's not, oh, I'll never have an issue again. It's, oh, I feel totally in control. I know what my body needs. And because of that, I can eat anywhere. That the invitation in this whole title is like, we get to choose to heal versus manage. And when we do that, we step into a new possibility. And that new possibility basically invites us to go deep. And instead of looking for the one thing or the one shift or the one food, we actually look at the big picture. What's happening to our gut? Our gut is really stressed out. And to be honest, you don't even have to know why. In some cases, you don't really have to know exactly why. We just need to have a plan to move forward. Simplifying, making it easy for your body. 2, eating things that are more digestible in the name of calming your gut down. 3, seeing you getting to that place of your vacation where you're eating your croissant without any issues or stress through the lens of, oh, it's like a process that I'm going to get to, and I may need to make some changes along the way and figure out things along the way, but I'm moving towards that versus the one thing, did it work or not, right? That process. And then really the envelope around all of it is, and keep it light by knowing that your diet is like one ingredient in the recipe of rehabbing your gut. And Your diet's the food that goes in, but your system itself often needs support to kind of come back to life. And that's usually a combination of subs, nervous system, mindset, that kind of thing. But it gets to feel good. It gets to feel like self-care. It gets to feel like a coming home to yourself versus something that you're like fighting against to fix. Yeah. Um, and yeah, I could keep going, but as I kept kind of alluding to, if this was super helpful, there's a couple other ways you can go deeper if you want to go deeper. The first way, which is what I've been doing for the past 3.5, 4 years, is working one-on-one with men and women who are super motivated, have some kind of chronic gut issue, again, obvious or non-obvious, who want to heal their gut at the root, rebalance their body so they can live and eat freely, let's live their best life. I work one-on-one with clients and do that. And so the application to that's going to be somewhere under this video. Just go ahead and fill it out and just let me know why you want to do this. And we'll feel out to see if we're a good fit. The second one, which at the time that you're seeing this may already be here, is if you're wanting to self-heal and do it at your own pace, I have something called the Ultimate Gut Rehab Guide. As of right now, it's almost, but not quite. So that link will be posted here as soon as it is, and that's perfect for you if you're like, hey, I want to rehab my gut. I want to be able to eat without stress. I want to know what foods work for my body and all of that, but I want to do it at my own pace and go through it at my own speed. That would be great for you. And if you have any questions, what option will be best? Just reach out to me on Instagram. My DMs are always open. They're always open. And that is all for today. I am so happy you were here, and we'll talk so soon. Bye.